Hey everybody, just wanted to make a couple comments. Just finished up getting through your family home evening reports, and so again, the learning curve on what's expected from each report. So just a little heads up, um, when you're preparing to do an assignment, just look at the point total. If it's a 10-point thing, then obviously I would expect a little bit less. I don't want you to spend an hour on something to try to get 10 points. If something's like this one was a 40-point report, so you should put more effort into letting me know what's going on. And so, I'm not there at your family evening, or the share it assignment. I'm not there. So always just provide enough information for me to be able to see it in my mind, understand what happens. Because I'm here to do more than just say, hey, good job, nice lesson, looks really good. Because you want real feedback. So if you give me a little bit more information, then I'm able to, kind of see what happens, and I could say, consider doing this next time, or here's a teaching skill that I've found that might be helpful in that situation. So I'm here to help. I'm here to give you a little bit of information. I'm trying to do that. And for that reason, I have this video. There's just two things I wanted to point out. One, um, several of you were talking about how you shared stories, and some of the kids got a little tired or glassed over or bored before the story was done. Whether it be a scripture story or a story from prophets. So I have a comment about that, and then also the idea of role play. There was a lot of you that acted out the story, and so just a couple thoughts. So number one was stories. Some of you pointed this out, which is great. When you're telling a story, you don't have to just pound out the whole story. Like if someone is reading it, or if you're reading it and you're watching, and people are knocking out, and their focus is waning, you can just pause the story and then just kind of go, okay, so what just happened there? And what does that teach you about obedience? So you can ask questions. You just read your audience, read your class. Um, Another thing you can do is, before you go into the story, a lot of times maybe we've already taught a principle, we looked at a scripture, just set it up with a question. Have him look for something, or have him listen to and pay attention. Um, some type of prompt, so that they're engaging in the story and trying to get the answer that you're sending them looking for. So just a couple of thoughts to make stories a little bit better. Now the role play idea, a lot of times we're like, okay, we're gonna act this out. We're gonna, do fun things, and in our minds we're like going, great, we're acting it out. The kids are involved, and we check the box, going, it was a great object lesson. And here's just one thing to consider, one little tweak, so that's more than just an activity, but it increases the power. So I don't do a lot of role playing, acting out in my seminary class. Do with the younger kids, at home. But in class, I call it a role play, and you have them walk through, but I mainly just want them to experience it. So let's say you got your kids all dressed up, and they're going to gather the brass plates. And so, first thing is, Nephi's walking through the city, and he doesn't know, he's being led by the Spirit, but he doesn't know what's going to happen. And so as they're walking through, the room, going around the couch and stuff, and just say, Nephi, how you feeling right now? Right? 'Cause they're playing Nephi, so you talk to him as Nephi. And they might say, well, it's dark and it's kind of scary, because I've already been chased out of the city, and now I'm going back in there. And you're like, so do you know where you're going? I don't. Well, the Spirit's, prompting me. What would that be like? What do you mean, what would it be like? Well, like it says the Spirit's leading you. Is the Spirit like a pillar of fire, directing you where to go? Well, no, the little ideas. And so you want them to feel the story, not just act it out and have a little fun. When you come across Layman and he's on the ground, and you're looking at him, you're like, he's drunk, and you're like, yes, the Lord has provided for me. And all of a sudden the Spirit's like, kill him. Nephi, why would the Spirit ask you to do that? How would you feel when he asked you to do that? And so the whole idea is, you're acting out the story, but you want their brains and their hearts engaged in that story, and just make it come alive. And if you could just do those little bit of tweaks, your efforts will just skyrocket.